And welcome to the UIL State Championships presented by State Farm. It's boys high school basketball. We've already crowned a 1A Division I champion and a 3A champion. Now 2A action for you as the Ponder Lions get ready to battle the Tatum Eagles in what is sure to be a great battle. Ponder out of District 9 2A, Tatum out of District 17 2A. I'm Jeff Power here courtside. I'll be bringing you all the pregame, halftime, and postgame coverage from right over here courtside at the Irwin Center. Let's kind of recap real quickly what's already happened earlier today. Mumford was the story. Mum is the word, yes. They had a great performance from LaKendrick Heisen, who had 19 points and 11 rebounds. Also, Dion Mack had a great game as well with 18 points, added to Aubrey King with 18 points. There's Mack with the jumper right there in the corner. So big point totals all the way around for Mumford as they hung on to win it 64-57 as they used a really strong second quarter where they outscored Munster 22-11 to go on to win it. We caught up with their very happy head coach following the game.
I was probably the most excited the first time we ever went to state, winning that regional championship. This is a moment you dream of. All these guys have worked hard for it, and it feels real good now, and I bet it's going to feel even better in a few minutes.
I just can't really describe it. It's just an amazing feeling. It's just something you dream about when you step foot on a basketball court. Like one of the goals you want in your career to win a state championship, and we finally did it together.
And that was Dion Mack and Chris Sodak. They're talking about that championship for Mumford. Hey, check out this celebration. This just came to us from the Dallas Madison locker room. I want you just to listen. Yeah, back-to-back. They've won their state championship in Class 3A over Yates in a rematch of last year's state championship. Just take a listen because you're going to even see the head coach, Roderick Johnson, as he starts dancing. And that player right there front and center, yeah, he was getting a lot of airtime on our camera. That's Cameron Bryant having some fun in the locker room. We appreciate the UIL letting us go in there and talk to some of these players and see the dancing. But here's Roderick Johnson jumping in the mix right there. It's a big day for the Johnson family. In case you haven't heard, we had Goree Johnson earlier on halftime of our previous game. He is the father there of Roderick. And, of course, Royce Johnson, the head coach of Kimball, he can win a state title too. So much like the Lombard family last week winning those two state titles for both Canyon and Wall, looks like we have a chance for both Dallas Madison and Dallas Kimball winning state championships, and that would be really big for the Johnson family. All right, let's take a quick let's go send it on over to Brett Dolan and J.D. Lewis, who will have the call for this game.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. And again, welcome courtside here to the Irwin Center. It's Tatum, it's Ponder, and JD, even before we take a look at the starting lineups, there's something of note that we must discuss regarding the Lions.
Yeah, absolutely. Chase Harris is going to be out of the starting lineup, but you're going to see Logan McCarty replacing him. He actually suffered a concussion in the second quarter of the game yesterday. Played through, was a little bit fuzzy in the second half. He was evaluated, and he is going to be out in this game today.
Scored 20 points, hit the game-winning three-pointer, and doesn't remember it. I mean, that's painful in many ways because what a great memory, but of course won't be available today.
Yeah, that's going to be difficult for them. They're going to be a little bit short-handed. They like to play about 6 guys. Now they're going to have to play 5, and they're going to have a number of players step up from the bench.
Two outstanding teams, and let's take a look at our starting lineups. Our starting lineups, of course, are brought to you by Ford, the best in Texas. We'll begin first with the Tatum Eagles, 35-4 under coach Brett Carr, Jahid Johnson, Donovan Centers, Casey Carr, Cheston Brooks, and then Robbie Rockwell, who averages 19 a game, rounds out the starting lineup for the team ranked second in the state, the Tatum Eagles. For the Ponder Lions, Clay Morgan, joined by Josh Peterson, Cameron Salee, Brady Anderson, and then it's Logan McCarty. He's the 6'2 senior who will step in replacing Chase Harris. Did not score in the win against Aransas Pass, but as Coach Stanley told us before the game, he is a player that has started games this season.
Started many games. He has the experience to do so. He's going to have to step it up. I mean, there's no question about that, but there's a lot of confidence and belief that he can do so.
Ponder again got here with a 51-47 win. Game they shot 43%. Really a close game until Harris hit that 3 late. This program has won 4 state titles, including back-to-back 2008, 2009, and 2010. 31 wins on the year, and they're searching for their 5th state tournament title in 8 appearances. What an amazing run.
Well, absolutely amazing run. Anytime a team can do that. That's definitely something that you would like to do. You like to say a lot that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Well, for these kids, it probably is. Tatum was here last year. I remember calling their game. It's a heck of a team. They're going to want to increase the pace, get it up and down, and go. And Ponder, on the other hand, is going to want to slow it down a little bit.
No, Tatum, they're 35-4. They've won 23 straight games. They've not lost in 2014, a team that has scored more than 100 points 7 times this season. Their win to get here over Bushland, maybe a little bit lower scoring, 58-41, but JD, they had 30 points in the paint, just completely controlled that game from beginning to end.
They did control the game, and Bushland did a good job of not turning the ball over and playing into what Tatum wanted to do, but Tatum was able to counter them and dominate in the paint.
We're about ready to tip this one off, the 2A state championship game. The Tatum Eagles in the green uniforms and the Ponder Lions in the white. Great crowds earlier this morning for a couple of championship games. The afternoon session begins with the 2A matchup. This officiating crew out of the Bay Area. And we're underway in the 2A state championship game. The Eagles control first. Cheston Brooks has the basketball. See if the Eagles can get some shots off early. The three-pointer ends up in the hands of Clay Morgan.
Now Brady Anderson bringing the ball up, Ponder, trying to get them into their offense. Look for them to take a little time off the clock and get a good, clean shot.
Anderson, somebody would like to get it going offensively. Just 1 of 8, couple of points in that semifinal win. Good give to Morgan, stuffed at the rim, and the ball in the hands of Brooks.
And that was good help by Jaheed Johnson right there getting that block.
Cheston Brooks, an offensive foul. Lowered his shoulder and taking the charge is Logan McCarty, the late addition to the starting lineup.
And we've seen a lot of charges taken so far. And I mean, those are just hustle plays. And it's going to come down to the team that can complete more hustle plays.
We've seen a lot of charges. We've seen a lot of players maybe fearful of the collision get blocks. McCarty, give him credit. He stood his ground.
Absolutely.
Still looking for our first basket, almost a minute into our 2A championship game. Brady Anderson double team. And there's Logan McCarty who just took that charge.
Logan McCarty, of course, the guy that is starting for Chase Harris, the freshman.
And McCarty with the basketball again. Salee stops and goes with the bank shot, and the rebound to Donovan Centers.
And I like to see the guys sharing the ball that way. He wasn't able to knock the shot down, but still good teamwork by Ponder.
Again, 23 straight wins for the Tatum Eagles. Center coach Brett Carr. And Cheston Brooks controls. Leads to an open 3 from Robbie Rockwell, and he's an outstanding three-point shooter and rips his first.
Heck of a shot, but give a lot of credit to Clifton Willis, who was able to step up and make a nice screen to allow him to get that open.
See if the Lions can get on the board.
Some real pesky defense by Tatum. They're going to get up in your grill and try to force the pace.
Extremely aggressive. Ball was deflected into the backcourt, so Cameron Salee went over to get it. Nice backdoor cut, leads to a basket from Clay Morgan on the pass from Josh Peterson.
Ponder shares the ball so well. Been so impressed already early on in this game.
So off to a good beginning. Cheston Brooks found a seam. Put back try won't go. And the Lions with the basketball. Another good outlet pass ahead to McCarty. Open lane to the rim, and he'll score. A chance for a three-point play.
And Ponder's point guard keeping his head up, looking to get the ball down the court. Get as many easy buckets against this Tatum team as you can.
JD, that's a great observation. The way the Lions have passed the basketball, resulting in good shots. And we'll see it again here on a replay.
And that's something you practice every single day, getting out in transition, throwing it ahead, and being able to hit that guy.
It's also court awareness, though, right?
Absolutely. Understanding that the defense is wanting to press, and everybody, as soon as you take the ball out, they're all jumping up and looking to press. When you have one guy release, it opens up that backside long pass.
So a 2-point lead for the Lions. Eagles with the basketball. Clifton Willis. That was a three-point try. Ends up in the hands of Centers. Basketball's been tapped alive a couple of times. The Lions have been there to collect.
And so far, Ponder's been able to get all the loose balls, win all the hustle plays.
Josh Peterson holds and fires one across the court. Brady Anderson lost the basketball. Here comes Willis. Numbers aren't there, so he'll wisely pull it up. Leads to a shot from the elbow from Cheston Brooks. And the rebound, you're right, ending up in the hands of the Lions. That one, though, went out of bounds. Maintains Tatum possession.
And right now, Tatum's settling for a lot of outside shots. And I like to talk about this a lot because it's difficult for these high school teams when you come and you play in the Irwin Center to deal with the depth perception. It's very different from what they're used to playing in all season long. And a number of teams like to score from outside, but it's more difficult when you're in this kind of a venue.
Do you find in game 2 that you start to settle in a bit as far as that depth perception, or you have to start over again?
You kind of start over again, really. You find it about a quarter or so into it. You start to get your feeling going, and you get in rhythm, but you lose it again. And some guys come out and they're able to keep it going, but most of the guys find it after about a quarter.
Well, it's hard, though, the magnitude of this situation, the big crowd here, the state championship game. Put back try up and in from Martin Williams, who just checked into the game.
And that's what Tatum's going to need to do, get the offensive rebounds and score in the paint, especially if they're going to take this many outside jumpers.
Game tied at 5, halfway through our first quarter in the 2A state championship game here from Austin. Brady Anderson forced that pass. Cheston Brooks intercepts. A good hustle play, though, by Cameron Sully to get back and take it away. Little bump in the backcourt, a couple of number 5s going at it. It was Casey Carr, the coach's son, that picks up the foul for Tatum. So a clean game so far, an even game. Tatum and Ponder tied at 5. We'll take a media timeout and step aside from the Irwin Center here in Austin. By your Texas Ford dealers. Enjoy the best savings on America's best-selling brand. Ford is the best in Texas. And by DQ, the best tasting treats, eats, and drinks in Texas. DQ just tastes better. And this UIL basketball championship is brought to you by State Farm. Good ball game, tied at 5 here in the first quarter.
Sully handling the pressure for Ponder early on in this game, doing a good job.
Coming off a 2A game in which the winning team committed 34 turnovers. So a little better ball handling so far in this one. Brady Anderson inside the arc. Fighting for the rebound is Peterson. That ball's out of bounds. It belongs to the Eagle.
It's something I really like that Ponder is doing early on. Back to the whole point of sharing the ball. The importance of getting it swung around the arc is not just to get an open shot, but you're also making Tatum work hard defensively, and you're tiring them out a little bit. So then when they come down on the offensive end, they may not have as much gas left in the tanks. They may settle for more outside jumpers.
You know, you think about these teams, they've played each around 40 games over the course of a season. Oftentimes I watch after one quarter, it seems like these teams getting a little bit fatigued and tired, and I wonder, in addition to just playing defense, if that's the adrenaline kicking in and really sucking up a lot of your energy right out of the gates.
Yeah, it absolutely does. You have a lot of energy. You're going to see a number of shots go long as a result of that as well. Hey, shooter! These kids will find their way, though, pretty soon. This is about the time when somebody starts to step up, they start feeling it, and they get going.
Entry pass near the timeline into the hands of Clifton Willis. There's Casey Carr. Tatum content to play around the perimeter, try and find a good look. Rockwell being guarded closely by McCarty. So a lengthy possession here for the Eagle.
Yeah, and Tatum seems like they got exactly what they were looking for.
It's a good-looking stroke from Robbie Rockwell.
That's a nice crossover pull-up by him.
Coach Stanley Ponder said we have to identify him, but he scored 5 early points. Anderson lowers his shoulder, tried to draw the contact. He did, but no foul called.
Well, and that's not what Ponder wants. They don't want to have that one quick shot and done.
Open 3 from the baseline from Smith. Keyshawn Smith with the triple.
It was a heck of a shot. He got his feet set. Was able to have a pass delivered to him right on the numbers.
Scored just 2 points in that semifinal win against Bushland. 3 with 1 stroke from the corner, and there's a timeout called by Ponder. 30-second timeout, 2 minutes plus here to play in our first quarter.
Well, and we talked to Coach Carr before this game, and he let us know that everybody really on this team could score. He's got a deep bench. He's got about 8 guys he likes to play, but there are a few others that can get in the mix and can get it going.
It's a huge weapon for any coach to have. I mean, there are a lot of teams we see where you might identify 1 or 2, maybe 3 scorers, but if you have a system and kids capable of stepping up, it makes it so much harder for the opponents to defend.
There are so few teams that have the kind of depth that Tatum has in high school. And I'm not talking about just 2A. In 3A, 4A, and even 5A, it is hard to find a bench that goes 8 to 10 guys deep, and Tatum fortunately has that. It is absolutely a benefit to them.
Speak to the difficulties of preparing for a team like that on 1 day's rest.
Well, they can really match up to the team. I mean, with different kinds of teams, they match up differently. And when we talked to Coach Carr before, he mentioned some of his players that didn't play as much because of matchups. So when you have a coach that also has the wherewithal to play that, then it's very difficult to prepare for.
It's a team you'd like to have about a week to get ready for, not 1 day with a state championship on the line.
Absolutely.
Ponder could use a basket down 6. That pressure from Tatum starting to cause problems.
They're starting to rush a little bit and get out of their game. You just want to, I mean, you're down 6 points, but that's really nothing, and there's eternity left in the game. Just take your time, relax, and get good shots. 1 possession at a time.
Ponder 2 of 6 from the field. They've committed 3 turnovers. Good look from the corner from Austin Spikert into the game. So here comes Casey Carr, the 5'10 senior, the coach's son. Kicks out to Willis, who shoots for a 3 and buries the 3-point basket. 3 threes so far for the Tatum Eagles. They build the lead to 9.
Casey Carr very shifty and very crafty.
Anderson steps into a 3. Rebound back tap to Salih. 1 minute mark here of our first quarter. And Salih drew the foul. Picked up by Casey Carr again.
So far in this game, Tatum's committed 4 fouls, Ponder none. They've been well coached. They understand that they can't afford to have any of their guys get in foul trouble because of their lack of depth, especially with the loss of Chase Harris. We talked about that just a little bit earlier. He had a concussion in the second quarter of the semifinal game and has been ruled out in this game. A freshman that scored 20 points, had 7 rebounds, and Ponder's really been missing him so far here in this game.
Also had 5 3-point baskets, gave them a real threat from the perimeter.
He actually had all 5 of their 3-point baskets for the game. The team was 5 of 11, and he was 5 of 7.
He had the full inventory. Steal credited to Brooks. Eagles come back 2 on 3. Brooks will pull up, tries to follow his miss, but the ball rebounded by McCarty. Salih with a pretty good spin move. Got up in the air, though, with no place to go. And see if Josh Peterson can get into the scorebook. He'll commit a frustration foul following his miss.
That's exactly what it is. And of course, as a coach, you never want to see your player do that, give up just a cheap foul like that.
JD, watch the first one. He got away with the first bump. They didn't call him. It was the second bump in the elbow that got the foul.
Yeah, he stayed with it. He wanted to foul him. It was you're right. It was a frustration foul. I mean, it was simple as that.
Ponder had a 5-2 lead at one point. It's been all Tatum since then here in our first.
Tatum likes to get up and down, but with only 29 seconds left in this quarter, we'll see if they want to hold for the last shot, and they don't.
Good shot from the corner, or from the elbow, and Robbie Rockwell. True again, 7 points.
Robbie Rockwell starting to generate some momentum with his shot, and he has a smooth stroke.
Ponder could use a hit. Peterson the catch in traffic, and he'll get the basket.
And that's exactly what Ponder needs to be doing. Nice shot fakes from a couple of guys, but get the ball to your big man down in the paint.
The heave from Brooks would not go. Brings us to the end of our first quarter. Good beginning for the Tatum Eagles. They lead Ponder. And Coach Stanley 16-7. A state championship game from the Irwin Center in Austin. 1 quarter complete. It is a 16-7 Tatum advantage, and the Lions will get the basketball first.
Tatum's already played 10 guys so far here in this game after 1 quarter. We talked about depth at the beginning of the game, and Tatum's showing us the kind of depth they really have.
Get that box score from their semifinal win against Bushel, and you almost need a second page to get all their names in.
You need a magnifying glass to read all the names in order to fit them on the page.
Some contact early here in our second quarter. Logan McCarty picks up the personal. That's his first, also just the second team foul on the Lions. One of the few times today the Eagles go down low on the rebound grab by Clay Morgan. I'd like to see Morgan get involved. He has 2 points, but a man who averages 19 a game.
Yeah, and a lot of that falls on his teammates to get him the ball down in the paint where he excels.
Left-hander from the right side, Dustin Ferguson into the game and into the scorebook.
Dustin Ferguson only played 2 minutes in their state semifinal game. He's going to be logging a lot more here in this one.
Trying to defend Jaheed Johnson and commits the personal foul.
Jaheed, a 6'4" sophomore, looking to go down low, try to finish, get some Ponder guys in foul trouble.
So Johnson, the 6'4" senior, to the free throw line. Had 4 points in that semifinal win against Bushland, a 58-41 Eagles victory.
Thanks for the clarification. I said sophomore, he's a senior.
We've seen so many talented sophomores. It's
So
amazing
many.
so far in this tournament.
So many.
Future bright for a lot of these teams that are enjoying this weekend here in Austin. Some, of course, more than others. Clay Morgan has to get rid of the basketball, and coming back for it's Ferguson.
And look at the pressure that Tatum is applying. They are climbing right up into Ponder.
Yeah, forcing them far from the rim, contested shots.
Well, and what that does is it makes them uncomfortable running their offense.
Rockwell, maybe his first miss today, the rebound into the hands of Morgan. Let's see if Ponder can get a better look, a better shot.
I'd like to see them go down low right now, especially try to get the ball to Morgan.
See the blocking foul right in front of the Ponder bench committed by Jaheed Johnson.
I believe that's team foul number 6. Ponder ought to be in the bonus from here on out for the rest of this half.
That might allow them to, A, get some points at the stripe, and also just slow down the pace or tempo a bit.
It also allows you to get back into the game without taking a whole lot of time off the clock.
Great look in the backdoor lob to Clay Morgan.
All of a sudden, Ponder only down 5.
Clifton Willis with a basketball will back it out between the circles. 2 minutes gone here in our second quarter. Willis from beyond the elbow. That shot missed badly.
And Brady Anderson, number 20, doing a fantastic job covering Rockwell, not allowing him to get the ball.
Multiple opportunities results in a basket. That's Donovan Centers with a putback.
They're just down there scrapping right now, and Tatum getting 3 attempts and 1 possession like that normally is going to end up with a bucket.
And Smith, the rebound, the pass ahead to Centers. Centers too hard.
Well, and that doesn't look good. Clay Morgan grimacing a little bit. Looks like he may have turned an ankle or a knee or something on that play. Hopefully he'll be okay.
Yeah, Ponder cannot afford any more injuries.
No, they cannot.
McCarty sizes up a long 3, and he's got 6 points.
And that's what you have to have. When you're playing for a state championship, you have to have guys stepping up. That's exactly what McCarty's doing right now.
He has filled that role. Keeping Ponder right in this game. Tatum with the ball, leading by 4 here in our second.
It feels like there's a good amount of momentum in Ponder's favor right now.
Dribble drive and a whistle away from us. It looks like another offensive foul. Guess who's on the bottom of the pile? I'll give you 2 guesses and you need 1.
That is unbelievable help defense right there. Fantastic. Logan McCarty just getting in the mix, both on the offensive end and the defensive end. Wow, good play, and that is a momentum grabber for Ponder.
The second time McCarty has taken a charge. In addition to those 6 points he scored when he did not score the other day in the semifinal game. Now numbers are there. We'll see if Ponder will push. Morgan lost the basketball.
And it's not easy sacrificing your body.
Oh, McCarty thought he had the hat trick of charges, and that time he got called for the block.
Well, and it looked like one official was going to give the charge, the other gave the block, but it was the official on the baseline's call to make.
Now college, that certainly is a block. In high school basketball, there's a few that would have called that a charge.
It's just such a discretionary call, and I mean, at all levels, at high school, at college, even in the NBA, a block versus a charge comes down to the ref's discretion. And as a player, what you have to do is you have to go through the game, and you just have to adapt to how the refs are going to be calling the game.
On the college level, you start that upward movement, and he had, when he slid in there
That's
to take
right.
that contact, of course, that would be a block, but he was set, of course, before the contact here at the high school level.
And don't pay any attention to that arc, because it doesn't matter in high school.
Does not matter. Just window dressing, so to speak.
That's
here.
right.
McCarty had to give to Morgan. The ball went off his knee, out of bounds.
And Morgan struggling to get anything going so far in this game. He has 4 points, 2 of 5 from the field, but he has a number of turnovers.
You're talking about a kid who's 14 points away from 2,000 in his career. By winning the semifinal game, it gave him a chance not only to win a state title, but to reach 2,000 points.
That's an impressive milestone if he can get to it. I'm rooting for the kid.
Couple of baskets, but it's probably not been his type of game so far, at least as far as flow and rhythm. Smith was stuffed but fouled.
Well, and Peterson has been very good defensive position that entire time. He really didn't need to foul him, but you get tired, things like that happen. Ponder only playing 7 guys, but mostly playing the 5 guys. Their 5 main players: Clay Morgan, Josh Peterson, of course, Cameron Salih, Brady Anderson, and Logan McCarty, with the absence of Chase Harris, who's out at this game with a concussion.
Tatum not doing themselves any favors from the line, 0 of 5 from the stripe.
That allows Ponder to hang around.
Led to some empty possessions. Donovan centers at the line. He's got 3 points in the game.
One thing Tatum does a very good job at, though, is getting a shot each and every time down the floor. They only have 4 turnovers in this game so far. You'd like to keep it in single digits. You'd like to do about 5 or so in each half, or limit yourself to that. But the key is getting that shot each and every time, and they do that.
Ponder got the timeout, fearing a 10-second call. 3:52 to play in our second quarter. Ponder hanging around. It's the Eagles by 5. Well, stay tuned for the Ford halftime show. Full of first half stats, highlights, and analysis. You never know who might stop by. In fact, earlier today in the house, Shaquille O'Neal was in the building. But it's been a parade of dignitaries over for our halftime and between game shows with Jeff Power.
He's not big, is he? Just 7 feet, 7'1", 300.
Yeah, he's a mountain. It's a shame that happened earlier in the day, but
Yeah.
his high school team was honored. Meanwhile, a good one going on here. Ponder with the basketball, trailing by 5.
I'm very impressed with how well coached both of these teams have been so far in this game. Playing good, solid defense. You know, we've seen some sloppy games in the state tournament. This one is not one of them.
Good observation, JD. I would agree. Not a lot of turnovers, not a lot of fouls, as they say that another whistle. But for the most part, these teams have been able to play and let the guys on the court decide
It's
things.
good, clean basketball, and that's what you want to see, especially in the state championship game.
Clay Morgan did pick up the foul, though, his first. And you see Coach Brett Carr patrolling the sidelines for the Tatum Eagles.
Got that nice green tie to match player's uniform.
He'll need that in about a week for St. Patty's Day, but he'll
That's
break it out
right.
tonight.
I could use that in about a week for St. Patty's Day. I just don't own much green.
Eagles clad in nothing but today in this 2A championship game. Second-ranked team in the state. Contact, no foul. Stepping around the pressure was Clifton Willis. Got hit hard.
And that's exactly what Tatum needs to be doing against Ponder. They do have a little bit short of a bench in this game. They only want to play about 5 or 6 guys primarily, and if you can wear them out when they have to play defense, you should do that. You've got a 5-point lead. Continue to do that.
Good look at Willis, the left-hander to the line.
Well, Tatum struggles from the free throw line. Continue. I say that normally when I start talking about their free throws, they will do the opposite of what I say, so I would imagine he'll make this one.
Tatum's hoping you're right. 1 of 7 from the line so far. Clifton Will splits a pair. He's got 4 points in the game.
The worst is when it's the other way around.
That's right.
You start talking about how good they're doing with their free throws, and then all of a sudden they miss their next 3, and then everyone blames you for it.
You don't want to be the jinx.
No.
Backdoor cut. There's Morgan streaking to the basket. He's got 3 field goals. So again, this has been about a 4 to 6 point cushion now for several minutes. Casey Carr lines up a 3 and gets his first basket of the game, a triple.
That was a nice job created by the dribble penetration by his teammates, kicking out to him for a wide open 3. Knocked it down.
Willis with the steal, pulls up wisely to stay away from a charge attempt, but he could not finish. Silly with a tough pass. Morgan streaking to the basket, got bumped hard. In fact, that was Peterson, I beg your pardon, from Morgan.
And Tatum runs the press, not necessarily to force you into a bunch of turnovers, but to take some time off the clock. You get it takes about 10 seconds to get the ball down the floor, and everybody's running behind. It forces a number of turnovers, but that's not the purpose of the press.
Brady Anderson has to get rid of the ball. There's Morgan. And he's 10 points away from 2,000.
A great job flashing to the basket, making that flash cut right there. That's what they'd like to see more out of him. He's made his last 2 field goals. Maybe he's starting to get it going.
It seems to be part of his game.
It's hard to defend him when he's moving the way that he is.
Big man who can move, no doubt. 3-point try, good again. All of a sudden, the Eagles starting to heat it up. That's Willis.
And so far, the Eagles have a higher shooting percentage from the 3-point line than from the free throw line.
5 from long range. A bit of a force that time from Morgan. Tries to follow his miss. There was some contact. Morgan fighting for the basketball. Who does it belong to? Apparently, it'll be Tatum ball.
Shaking his head as he walks down the floor is Clay Morgan. Thought he got fouled on that one. Not happy that they came away from that with nothing to show.
Boy, there was some contact in the paint. And at every dead ball, we're seeing wholesale substitutions now from both teams.
Yeah, and there was plenty of contact down there, but at the same time, Clay Morgan playing a little bit at a little bit higher of a pace, trying to probably force it a little bit, and the refs aren't going to give you that call if they think you're out of control at all.
Rockwell's cooled off just a bit. The rebound back tap to Anderson. Yeah, he definitely tried to initiate some of that contact.
Absolutely. And a good job by Tatum to not foul him, not put the refs in a position to have to make a call.
Very clean first half that has flown by, to say the least. We're inside a minute to go in our second quarter. Spiker the rebound.
Spiker, one of those players that is in the game contributing some big minutes for Ponder in the absence of Chase Harris.
How about the stop and go move from Brady Anderson for the basket? 6-point game again for the Eagles.
You got to be careful there if you're Brady Anderson. I know you're wanting to cut off the guy that's driving the ball, but you have to take a little bit better of an angle than that.
You certainly don't want to commit fouls 25 feet from the basket.
No, never. You definitely don't want to be sending Tatum to the free throw line, particularly Rockwell.
Yeah, Rockwell is a 90% free throw shooter. We've seen him with the stroke from outside, scored 7 points from the field, but we'll get a first look at him from the free throw line after a couple of more substitutions, including Mark Williams, who checks in.
And one of the things I always look at in these games is the amount of turnovers committed, and we talked about the 4 turnovers in the first quarter. Well, guess what? They're still at 4 turnovers in the game. Fantastic job in the second quarter.
Ponders had a much more difficult time with the basketball. They've committed 10. Even though they've shot the ball at a better clip than Tatum, but a couple of rips from the stripe from Rockwell, who leads all scorers with 9 points.
Still a 90% free throw shooter.
Doesn't surprise you when you saw him shoot from the field, did you?
No, kid's got a really, really good stroke.
Near steal in the backcourt. In fact, it'll be Tatum ball. And that was initiated with the contact and the effort from Jaheed Johnson.
Jaheed Johnson moves real well for a 6'4" post.
He came racing right in front of us like a bolt of light.
Absolutely did. Running like a gazelle. Tatum shown us that they will not hesitate to go ahead and score with about 30 seconds left. They're not going to try to hold the ball. Be interesting to see if they switch that up any here.
It's a 9-point lead at the end of the first quarter for Tatum. Ponders only chipped a point away, an 8-point advantage now.
If I'm up 28-20 and I'm Tatum, I said I'm happy to wait for the final shot and take a potentially 10-point lead into the half.
I agree. I'm surprised at the number of teams that can't execute this. They just can't
true.
hold on to the basketball and run out some clock and still get a good shot.
It looks like they're going to pull it out. That's a smart thing to do.
Cheston Brooks with the basketball. Still plenty of time left. 2 big steps, and Brooks lost it.
He was trying to go with the Euro step move, which we've seen a lot more so far in this tournament, a move that's very difficult to learn and figure out, but some guys have done it.
Pull up from Anderson, can't get the roll. Fighting for the rebound is Morgan. Morgan turns around and got that shot off, but nowhere near the mark. And it brings us to the half. 8-point lead for Tatum. 28-20, they lead over Ponder in the 2A state championship game here from the Irwin Center in Austin.
And welcome to the Ford Halftime Show. I'm Jeff Power alongside Neil Raphael. We are here courtside at the Irwin Center, Class 2A action for you. Tatum leading right now, 28-20 over Ponder. Well, in case you're just joining us, a lot has already happened today. We've visited with Shaquille O'Neal. We had a really good basketball game just a little while ago between Madison and Yates. In fact, let's go ahead and show you what happened in that 3A game between Madison and Yates. Back and forth kind of contest. Both these teams like to run and gun. That's Cameron Bryant with the bucket right there. He had 19 points. Roderick Johnson had 16 points. The leading scorer, by the way, was Admon Gilder for Madison with 22 points, and he grabbed 16 rebounds, Neil.
He did, and that was part of the reason Madison won. They won the rebounding battle over Houston Yates by 25, Jeff.
And there's Jonathan Turner with the basket. He had 12 points. Madison went on to win it by a final of 82-70 over Yates. That's back-to-back state titles. We caught up with their head coach following the game.
That's uncharacteristic of us to turn the ball over that many times. And we settled down, and we was fortunate the game was still a new ball game when we came out. That's what we said going out to the next half. It's still a new ball game. We played our worst basketball, and now it's time to go play our best. Second half, we took care of the basketball, and number one, and we defended them well, and we rebounded well.
Besides from the history that we made by winning it with your father, it was just great. I'm just glad to see the other guys on the team who deserved it as well. They got it too.
Some of the shots that we normally make, and we kind of got out of what we wanted to do in terms of getting to the basket, and took some outside shots that we had talked to them at halftime about not doing, and I guess in the heat of the game they just kind of got a little carried away and took some shots we don't normally take.
And that was Greg Wise right there from Yates. And you heard from Roderick Johnson from Madison early on. What a day for the Johnson family so far. I mean, we had Goree Johnson on. Of course, he coached at Kimball for a long time. He's the father of not only Robert, but also of Roderick, I should say, but also the father of Kimball's head coach currently, Royce Johnson. And so already one state title, and maybe Royce could get one here too. And Goree was very happy about that.
Yeah, he was. And interesting, You know, they talked about the 34 turnovers,
Yeah.
and you still win, 82-70. Unbelievable. But they won the battle of the boards. They also won the battle in the paint.
Sure.
By 14 points.
And, this game was eerily similar to last year's game. It was tight for about 3 quarters, and then in that fourth quarter, Madison just pulled away, just like they did last year. It was almost a carbon copy of the 3A state title game. Same team, almost the same score as well.
Yeah, and it came down to the fourth period. At that point, Dallas Madison pulled away, started scoring in the paint, and took care of the boards.
Now, you may not have seen this earlier, but we were in the Madison locker room following the game. This is what winning a state championship is all about. Listen, they're saying back-to-back, talking about winning back-to-back state championships for the Madison Trojans and Dallas ISD. But the dancing part of it was just hilarious. This is Cameron Bryant right in the forefront. He does a little signal, and then all the guys kind of chime in right there. You see that? Are you picking up on the signal here?
I am.
What's the password there, Neil?
Not sure. I think they have their own secret password. But
look at Roderick.
This hasn't happened since 1987.
Back to back, yeah.
Back to back with Sweeney High School. So nice to see them. And yeah, what a great celebration there. Back-to-back state championships. Not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, Roderick Johnson playing to celebrate, and that entire Dallas Madison team, that was fantastic. Okay, let's show you the early action now. This was a 1A Division I, Mumford battling Munster in the M&M battle, as we were calling it. Yes, Mumford and Munster, say that 3 times quickly. Back and forth game, but really early on, Munster led 17-9. Back came Mumford in a big way. They outscored them 22-11 in the second, and then outscored them 15-10 in the third, and started pulling away. Munster tried to catch up late, but could not. It was a 64-57 win for Mumford. They got 17 points from Lyndon Cook, who grabbed 26 rebounds. Check that was for Munster. But 19 points for LaKendrick Hyson and 11 rebounds. Those are some big-time double-doubles right there, Neil.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he's just incredible. As you see his athleticism on the baseline, able to elevate, and just anticipation there, and throws that one down. Just an outstanding state tournament for LaKendrick Hyson. Had 25 in the semifinal.
Let's hear from his head coach.
I was probably the most excited the first time we ever went to state, winning that regional championship. This is a moment you dream of. All these guys have worked hard for it, and it feels real good now, and I bet it's going to feel even better in a few minutes.
I just can't really describe it. It's just an amazing feeling. It's just something you dream about when you step foot on a basketball court. Like one of the goals you want in your career to win a state championship, and we finally did it together.
So there you go, 64-57 your final score, and Mumford wins it. So Mumford, they're kind of, Chris Sodak, he went to Texas A&M University. That's a team that's located kind of close to College Station.
Yeah, it is, interesting.
Yeah, well, and that's a team that, Mumford didn't have to travel too far to get here, but no question. I think Mumford's one of those teams that we knew coming in that they had the offensive firepower, and from the second period on, they really showed that.
Yeah, they did. They did the job on both ends of the floor. I think their defense is a little underrated, Jeff. We know they can score, but really they did a good job of defense in the second half, and that was really the difference in this contest.
Hey, you know who else was here earlier today? Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal, of course, his team was honored at halftime of the very first game. In fact, that Mumford game against Munster. And we got a chance to see not only Shaquille's teammates at Cole High School and that state championship they won back in 1989, but we got a chance to talk to Shaq following their little ceremony. And he was pretty funny in the post-game locker room area. Here's what Shaq had to say.
A lot of people, when they look at the Golden Gate Bridge, they always talk about the structure of the Golden Gate Bridge, but nobody talks about the legs of the Golden Gate Bridge, the legs that stand in the water. And these guys were my legs in high school, and they helped me become the guy that everyone knows to be Shaq.
And, of course, Shaq, he's now on TV. TNT does a great job with the broadcast crew over there. We were trying to get him to come join us. I mean, I told him Charles Barkley would be over here, but he didn't buy it. But he was having a good time with the media, and it was actually pretty funny. We'll see if maybe we can put some of that online later for you, that entire press conference. Well, that's the Ford Halftime Show. We'll be right back with much more. It's halftime 28-20. Tatum leading Ponder 2A title game. We'll be right back. And welcome back to your Ford Halftime Show alongside Neil Raphael. I'm Jeff Power. It is 28-20. Tatum is leading Ponder right now in the 2A state championship game. We've already crowned 2 of the 6 champions of the day. We have a 3A champion and a 1A Division I champion, that being both Dallas Madison and Mumford. So good stuff right there. Any quick thoughts before we send it back to the crew?
No, it should be a great second half here. We've had a nice first half. Ponder's hanging in there despite not having one of their top players in a freshman. Should be a great second half, Jeff.
Sure. Brett Dolan, J.D. Lewis, back to you guys.
All right, men, well done. Again, they're at the half. Day-point advantage for Tatum, as we discussed at the half. There's not a huge disparity between these two teams other than maybe what Tatum's been able to do beyond that three-point arc.
Right. It's really been a very clean game up to this point, and, you know, there's been – it's been a very difficult game so far, or it's been a very clean game so far up to this point for Tatum and as well as Ponder. They're both playing very well, very solid. It's come down to more second chance points and points off of turnovers, which really has been in favor of Tatum.
Really a fast-paced first half, not a lot of fouls, not many turnovers. You mentioned a clean game for the most part. Anything that you're going to look for early on here in our third quarter?
Well, the first 3 minutes are very important, and that's really how it goes in the second half and at the beginning of a game. And so which team is able to come out and set the pace, set the tone in the second half in the first 3 minutes, that's what I'm going to be focusing on, because either Tatum is going to be able to pull away a little bit, or Ponder all of a sudden is going to make it a game and start feeling really good about it.
Let's take a look at our halftime stats. Again, part of this 28-20 advantage from Tatum. Our stats brought to you by State Farm. At the first quarter break, it was a 9-point lead for Tatum. They lead by 8 at the break, and not a lot of disparity between the field goal percentages. Turnovers, though, Ponder's committed their fair share. Rebounds relatively even, and there's your second chance points.
That's right. Tatum doing a good job with their second chance points, but struggling from the free throw line so far in this game. They're 4 of 10. And shooting 50%, of course, from the three-point line. That is what has lent itself to their 8-point lead.
Yeah, of the 9 field goals that Tatum has converted in our first half, 6 have come from long range, so points in the paint heavily favoring Ponder, 14-4. Clay Morgan has had 8 points, but it's been slow as far as the process of getting him involved to where he normally scores, which is right around 20 points a game.
Right, and where he's been the most successful is when he's caught the ball going towards the basket, not when he's caught it with his back to the basket trying to make a move there. He's done a good job of putting pressure on the goal, and that's what he needs to do again in the second half.
28-20 our score. Tatum leading Ponder. We're going to send things back over to Jeff Powers.
All right, appreciate it, guys. No question about it. It's going to be an exciting second half. And Neil, they're honoring some of the teams out here. We were looking at the 89 3A champion San Antonio Cole earlier. Also, Beaumont Pollard, a 4A championship team from 1964. How about that? And Ladonia Fannendel out of Conference 1A champions back in 1989. Also, another 89 champion, Port Arthur Leakin. We're going to hear from Coach Gamble a little bit later on in the second game at halftime. That ought to be fun. League City, Clear Lake, also 5A champions, and Edgewood, 2A champions, all 1989. So let's take a quick timeout. We'll be right back with much more here on Fox Sports Southwest as we bring you basketball coverage from here in the Irwin Center in Austin, Texas.
Our state championship game is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Enjoy all the best savings on America's best-selling brand. Ford is the best in Texas. And by DQ. For the best tasting treats, eats, and drinks in Texas, DQ just tastes better. And this UIL basketball championship is brought to you by State Farm. Tatum leading 28-20, and for the Eagles, this is their third ever state tournament appearance. They got the silver medals in 2003, 2011. They're 2 quarters away from winning a state title under Coach Brett Carr.
Yeah, I've been very impressive in the first half. 50% from the three-point line. If they can continue that here in the second half, you're probably going to be seeing them as your state champions. Now, if Ponder can get out and essentially drive them off of the line, you've got to run them off the line, make them drive to the basket. That will help them a lot.
It's worth revisiting Chase Harris, who scored 20 points in the semifinal game, suffered a concussion. Not playing today, doesn't remember the game-winning shot he hit in the semifinals. Still a Ponder team, though, a basketball tradition-rich program, 4 state titles, the last back in 2010. That was under Coach Stanley, so maybe not these kids in particular, But this program understands big-time games, even when maybe you're a little bit shorthanded.
Yeah, and your heart has to go out to a kid like that. I mean, Chase Harris, he's gotten all the way to the state championship game, and then all of a sudden he can't play in it. I feel terrible for the kid. The good news, or the silver lining in all of this, is that he is just a freshman, which means he's going to have 3 more years to try to get his team back here.
Tatum tries to go down low, and Brooks couldn't coax one in. Bodies hit the floor, and a quick whistle.
Looks like Tatum's going to try to take advantage of their size down low against some of the guards for Ponder. They're going to post up some of their 6', 6'1", 6'2" guards and see if they can't get a guy like Salih in foul trouble.
Foul on Johnson of Tatum, so that's why Ponder has the basketball.
Logan McCarty, number 12, who was bringing the ball up there, is who was starting for Chase Harris.
It's worth mentioning he had 6 points, took a couple of charges, almost took a third in his contribution in that first half.
That's right. He's no stranger to starting basketball games. He started plenty early on in the year, and he stepped up to the challenge today.
That is McCarty with the basketball, closely defended by Willis. Brady Anderson leans in, goes with the scoop. Pretty move.
And Brady Anderson, a guy that Ponder relies on to get their offense going, get them flowing. He had 8 assists in their state semifinal game, only 2 points. And here tonight, he's continuing to do it not only with assists, but by getting to the basket the way he did right there.
Lions get the first hit here in the third quarter. Then Cameron Salih gets charged with a blocking foul.
Well, and Salih predetermined that right there. He knew that he knew he was about to get posted up again, and he was going to go ahead and take the charge. When it didn't happen, he thought to himself, well, I'm going to take the charge. He was already committed to it.
Willis. Boy, the taps are starting to go down the direction of the Eagles. And out of bounds was Centers, turning it over to Ponder. What dangerous pass.
That very dangerous pass.
Brady Anderson able to break the pressure into the front court. Just one basket here in the third quarter. It belongs to Ponder.
Just lost the ball there.
Thought that went off the hands of Willis. I think the officials conferring, they're not sure either.
I'm not sure either. He lost the ball, but I don't know if the defender touched it before it went out of bounds or not.
Apparently he did. Ponder gets it back.
They're showing they're not afraid to just throw the ball up against that pressure.
Go get it. Right now, Ponder having a hard time hanging onto the ball.
Tatum doing a lot of reaching, but not fouling, and able to get their hands on the balls.
Morgan getting harassed. That's got to be a foul. Nothing called.
Unbelievable that was not called.
And it leads to a run out and the left-handed floater off the glass from Willis. He has 9 points.
And that's a big 4-point swing right there. Going against Ponder and in Tatum's favor.
Lead back to 8.
The refs have got to get his hands off of him. I mean, he's jumping up into him. I understand and I appreciate the hustle by Tatum's centers, but you can't do that. You can't hand check that way.
It's awfully close to a 5-second call as we take another look. Yeah, that's impeding the progress, and that's
right.
why got the foul.
Absolutely.
Anderson with a seam to the rim.
Nice hard drive. There was no help defense on Tatum's part. Then Anderson was able to get all the way to it and finish. And what he did, too, is he was able to do that with 2 dribbles. Very efficient.
Covered a lot of ground.
That's what you want to do. Something I was always coached up, always said, I was always told, even Coach Barnes said, if you can't get to the basket in 2 dribbles, you don't need to be doing it.
Martin Williams answers and a chance for a 3-point play for the Tatum Eagles. An intentional foul charged to Josh Peterson. That's his 3rd foul, and that's a tough one in many ways.
Yeah, you can't afford to lose one of your bigs right now, especially Josh Peterson. 3 fouls. Looks like he's probably going to be coming out of the game. Coach is going to want to let him catch his composure just a little bit, talk to him, have him take a breather, and then you can put him back in here in a few minutes. And just tell him, make sure you don't foul. We need you in there, big guy.
It's Coach Stanley. He was an assistant on the 2001 State tournament team, head coach in 2010, wanting a further explanation. Satisfied apparently. He sent Dustin Ferguson back in the game. Officials conferring.
Of course, an intentional foul means basket counts. You get your free throw and the ball back.
Didn't he make the basket?
Made the basket. Well, that's what I believe it is one free throw, maybe two. I don't think I made a whole lot of layups when I was intentionally fouled. One free throw. I tried to stay out of the lane as much as I could.
Hey,
I'm a little guy.
I don't blame you.
You don't want to go mess with those trees. Wow, they got 2 free throw attempts on that one.
That's what the explanation was all about, I got to believe. That ball's still loose, picked up by Tatum. Jaheed Johnson had it, and he was being pushed out of bounds. So this has been a costly sequence here for the Lions, and a profitable one for Tatum.
Big swing right now. If they're able to get a bucket here, that's a 6-point swing, unless it's a 3. And then it'd be a 7-point swing.
A lot of math in this
Lots
possession.
of math.
There's your 3 try. There's your 3 make from Clifton Willis.
I'm glad I put that disclaimer out there about the 3.
Glad you did too. My goodness, this lead has jumped up to 13. No doubt Ponder needs a timeout. Not even 3 minutes into our third quarter. Remember, Ponder scored first. They made it a 6-point game. Now it's up to 13. We'll step aside from the Irwin Center in Austin. Part of a 7-0 run, the Tatum Eagles. It's jumped out to a 13-point lead. Doesn't seem like the most comfortable outfits here today.
Can you even see out of that thing? Horse head. That's it's been a popular mask lately amongst the kids and even young adults.
I'll have to take your word for it.
Yeah. You haven't seen the horse face? Come on. Got to get you with the times, Brett.
Might have to. Talked about masks. I can't wait for the LeBron masks and some of those to become commonplace after guys wearing those. Chase Harris could have used one the other day. Might have helped him out a bit. He's not available, and Ponder staring a 13-point deficit in the face. Cheston Brooks stopping and going, finds Willis in the corner. He's starting to feel it, not that time. How about that, able to save, at least almost, stepped on the baseline.
Well, this Tatum team sure plays hard. And they have so many guys that they're able to run in and sub in, and they just keep going at you, and they seem like they all can play at 100% energy.
I would agree, a very balanced team, a very fast team. There's a whistle away from the basketball. Rockwell picked up the personal. Now Ponder's going to have to not only find a way to score, they're going to have to beat the pressure just to get into the front court.
And every guy on this Tatum squad gets after you defensively, and they're all physical.
Nice backdoor cut. McCarty the lay-in.
You'd like to see a lot more of that, especially with a team that plays so aggressively defensively. Well, and that might have been a little bit of a, I don't want to say a makeup call, but he didn't call the foul on Sully. The ball went out on him probably. It looked like to me like it went out on Tatum, but probably should have been a foul call before.
Rockwell being tightly defended, guarded by Brady Anderson. In traffic, Cheston Brooks, and one.
And a good finish through the contact right there by Chester Brooks.
At 15 against Bushland, that's his first basket of the game, and we'll see it again.
Good rip through, one dribble, hard take to the basket. Absorbed the contact and finish.
Hard take, soft shot.
Tatum Been to the free throw line 12 times so far in this game. This will be their 13th attempt. Of course, Ponder only one free throw attempt this entire game. They're 1 for 1 from the line.
It's hard to believe. Free throw is made by Brooks.
Well, and in games like this, there are a number of stats that you want to win. You want to win rebounding, you want to win the turnover battle, and you also want to shoot more free throws. You want to make more free throws than your opponent shoots. And that's exactly what Tatum has done here today.
By a wide margin.
By a very wide margin, and I don't see that changing by the end of the game.
Casey Carr picked up his third foul, and Cameron Salih goes to the free throw line. So now Ponder to the stripe. All it took was a little conversation. We'll get the Lions to the line.
That's how it goes. You talk about anything like that over here, and it seems like all of a sudden it happens out
We have
there.
magic powers.
I'm telling you.
One of two. The Lions get the ball back. Anderson heads up.
Opportunity for a big play right here for Ponder. They can get a bucket.
They could use one of those 6 or 7 point possessions like the Eagles had. Under the hoop is Morgan. He'll go back to the line after he was fouled. And while that was a foul, Morgan really wasn't in position to do anything with that ball.
That's
with his
right.
back.
And Tatum, for the most part, they're very handsy. They use their hands a lot. They're able to do it without fouling, but there are a lot of times that it's been affecting Ponder, and they're starting to get really frustrated. It's affecting them mentally and physically. But right there, they were finally able to get a call and get to the free throw line.
Morgan can make this free throw. He'll become the first Ponder player in double figures to give these fans something to cheer about. No such luck, but another rebound by Ferguson. Just won't fall. Anderson tries to change that, and he does with a triple.
And that's a big shot there for Anderson and for the Ponder Lions. Important possession right here for Tatum.
Indeed. Single-digit lead for Tatum. Keyshawn Smith goes to work, pretty finger roll.
And I love that. I love that they didn't settle for a three. He knew that they needed a bucket right there, and he took it to the hoop.
Dangerous pass intercepted. Cheston Brooks got the pick. He'll get the assist. What a lay-in. Streaking to the basket, Martin Williams.
Basketball is a game of runs. Ponder goes on a 5-0 run. Tatum answers with a 4-0 run of their own.
And in the blink of an eye, after it looked like Ponder was back in this game only down 9, the lead has jumped back up to 13.
That's what Tatum can do to you. They can score quick. They can force you into a couple of turnovers, knock down their shots, and all of a sudden, they squash your run. Any momentum you were generating is now gone. Ponder's going to have to start over.
Running uphill, it feels like, for the
That's
Lions
right.
in most of this game.
That's true. And good help and recover defense. I'm telling you, Tatum, very well coached team.
Contested shot even from 17 feet.
And you could see the frustration on Brady Anderson's face that he is not getting foul calls right there. I mean, that shooters aren't going to miss that wide. I mean, he barely hit the side of the backboard. He got hit on the elbow that should have been called a foul.
But the frustration grows.
Yeah.
Morgan still needs 9 points to get to 2,000 in his career, so opportunities like this important for him personally, and obviously to get his team back in this game again. Too strong.
And here comes Tatum.
For the way they move the ball around the perimeter, so quick and efficient.
Well, and Ponder back in a pretty soft man-to-man, trying to pack the paint, not allow that, the drive.
Cheston Brooks through the contact. Third foul on Salih, and that's also the 5th on Ponder here in our second half.
Cheston Brooks has come out aggressive in this third quarter, playing very solid. In and out on his free throw, though.
A little English on that ball.
Second free throw is normally easier to hit than the first one.
And there you go, 4 points for Cheston Brooks, all in the second half.
Nice screen right there by Logan McCarty. Buy some time for Brady Anderson.
Eagles enjoying their largest lead of the game. So another crucial opportunity for Ponder. They need a basket. It's got to be a block, and is. McCarty, a chance for a three-point play.
That was a very strong drive. Be careful, McCarty. You don't want to stand over him, but heck of a finish.
This is like a running back hitting the hole, heading to the end zone.
And a good call by the refs. Clearly a block.
Great replay to show you that. So McCarty did not score in the semifinal game, has 11 points. What a great contribution he has provided. Coach Stanley and the Ponder Lions.
Leading the way for the Ponder Lions. He's the highest point scorer on their squad. Clay Morgan normally holds that title. Was it 9 points? Is that what you said? 9 points away? From 2,000 in his career?
And Morgan up high to grab that rebound.
And he's got just under 10 minutes in this game left to get there. I'd like to see them call a play and get him the ball down in the paint.
Just let him see that ball go through the net again a couple of times.
And I like the offense that Ponder's running right now, though. They're bringing their posts up to the elbows, which is creating driving lanes down on the baseline for some of these guards.
Morgan followed his miss. He's in double figures now with 11. Single digits again. Wild maneuver from Donovan Centers.
Tough call there for Tatum, but good play, forcing the ref to make a call.
It's called an offensive foul on Centers. Was that McCarty again?
Of course it was McCarty. If there's a charge being taken by Ponder, it's McCarty that's taking it.
My goodness, he's taken at least 4, and it could have been a 5th.
And Tatum made that shot, too. That could have been, they would have had an opportunity to go to the free throw
Big
line.
Swing. Gone from 9 to 13, back to 9 as far as the lead for the Eagles.
Brady Anderson handling the pressure of the press one-on-one.
Boy, Brady Anderson, lightning quick.
Looks like and it looks like they found a hole in Tatum's defense with the baseline drives.
Boy, great move. 3 Lions. J.D. All have scored 11 points now. Cheston Brooks, that's some contact. Looked like he leaned in. McCarty wanted another charge, and he was in position. I'm not even sure he was trying to take that as much as he turned around and stood his ground.
He was in position on that one, but it looked like he leaned into the charge as opposed to away. That's going to be a big loss right now, though, for the Ponder Lions. McCarty picking up his 4th foul. See if, he's going to be coming out of the game. Austin Spiker going in. Austin Spiker didn't log any minutes in their state semifinal game, but with the loss of Chase Harris, their outstanding freshman, and the foul trouble that Logan McCarty is in, he's going to see some minutes out here in this game. And he's been in throughout the game, but done a good job.
Cheston Brooks with a couple of hits. Ponder trying to finish strong here at the end of the 3rd quarter.
That's a good look at Peterson.
Morgan maybe shuffle the feet a bit. He'll go back to the stripe.
Nice aggressive move by Clay Morgan. Has a chance to cut into the deficit, not only for Ponder, but also to try to get to that 2,000-point milestone. And you know a player like Clay Morgan, he's not going to be out there thinking about how many points he's scoring. You just get lost in the game. You play your same style, you stick to it. And at the end of the day, you hope that you get it, but you're not thinking about it in the middle of the game.
No, well said, but certainly if he gets hot and he puts the points up, it'll benefit his team dramatically.
Absolutely.
For Tatum, number 12, Johnny Johnson.
Number 22, Peyton Ford in the game for the first time for Ponder. He's a freshman. Trying to just spell some of these guys for the last 40 seconds of this quarter.
Johnson, like a wide receiver through the back of the end zone, couldn't track that down.
And now you're going to see all your offensive guys come back in because they know that they can handle the pressure of this press and potentially hold it. I'm not sure if they'd hold it for one shot or not.
Well, McCarty's also back in, and JD, he needs to be careful just so he doesn't lower the shoulder, use the elbow.
Has to be very careful. And I mean, he's been very active on the defensive end taking charges, but he's also had a few blocks, and you don't want him to put himself into a position to where he could foul out of this game before you even make it to the fourth quarter.
Morgan had to bring the ball up himself with that 10-second count nearing.
And they are going to hold it, it looks like, for one shot.
He needs to get rid of the basketball. That's a 4 count. Close. Seven seconds to go in the quarter. Brady Anderson with the ball. Salih with the 3. Big hit to end our third quarter. Ponder's not going anywhere.
Wow, what a shot by Ponder to get him within 5. Well done, great execution.
14-point lead at 1 point for the Eagles. It's down to 5 as we head to the fourth quarter. Our state championship games brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Enjoy all the best savings on America's best-selling brand. Ford is the best in Texas. And by DQ, for the best tasting treats, eats, and drinks in Texas. DQ just tastes better. And the UIL Basketball Championship is brought to you by State Farm. Tatum had a 14-point lead at 1 point. In our third quarter, it's down to 5, and Ponder gets the ball to start the fourth.
Ponder gets the ball to start the fourth quarter. Big possession here for him. Really, when you're talking about the state championship game, every possession in the fourth quarter in a 5-point game is a big possession. They all matter so much.
Especially without a shot clock.
That's right.
Josh Peterson has 1 field goal. Will go to the stripe, the 6'6" senior. Had a big game on this run to the state tournament. In fact, he had 2 free throws with less than a second to go to send the Lions to state, although he misses there.
Well, you know he can make his free throws. That's what they're going to have to do. Ponder to continue to chip away at the lead. They're going to have to make their free throws down the stretch.
1 of 2.
They haven't been to the free throw line a whole lot so far in this game, but they have made it there. I believe that's their 10th and 11th free throw attempts.
It's been a long time since we've seen Rockwell get an open look. So open he missed.
You know, Rockwell hasn't touched the ball a whole lot here in the second half, and after such an impressive first half, I'm surprised that he hadn't.
3 shots all go awry. It'll be Ponder ball.
Let's talk about just for a second how these Ponder Lions have been able to play pretty much with 5 guys just about the whole game. A couple of guys logging some really crucial minutes for them off the bench, but for the most part, handling the pressure and doing it the entire time.
Take some strategic substitutions from Coach Stanley.
Absolutely, and Coach Stanley doing a heck of a job.
Maximizing the bench. Of course, these media timeouts don't hurt either.
Well, and the little things. You look at Brady Anderson, he's having to deal with this full court pressure and bringing the ball up. That's exhausting to do.
Anderson with a triple.
And look at that, we have a steal down here. And he knocks it down, and all of a sudden, Ponder takes the lead on Tatum.
From 14 down, it is a 1-point lead for the Ponder Lions.
And all the momentum is in Ponder's favor. Good timeout, very, very smart timeout. But you see the quick 3 here. Tatum trying to get out and run. They threw it in. And Salih had the quick steal, had the wherewithal to be able to look up, hang around right there and get this steal. That's crafty.
Media timeouts. 7:03 to play in our fourth quarter. The Ponder Lions now up by a point. The Irwin Center filling up for the end of this 2A game before the 4A matchup following the conclusion of this one. But JD, what a run, 17-2 by the Ponder Lions.
And they're able to do that because they've been efficient from the field, shooting over 54% now and 57% from three. That's 4 for 7. But they've also limited their turnovers, only 2 so far in this half.
Chaston Brooks puts Tatum back in front. Brooks has scored all 8 of his points here in the second half. Anderson on the push. Anderson will go to the line. Donovan Centers couldn't believe it. He thought he had a clean block.
Well, and he just came down too far and was able to catch him on the forearm accidentally.
Good call as we see that replay.
That was a good call. Brady Anderson, a player who's filling it up right now for Ponder. All of a sudden he has 14 points in this game with a chance to go get 15 and 16. Now just to get 15.
He had 2 at the half.
He's really turned it on in the second half.
He was just 1 of 8 from the field, a couple of points against Durance's pass. And the sophomore having a big game today, needs a make, missed them both, tough possession.
Yeah, coming away from that without any points is difficult, but can be overcome rather easily.
So Tatum with the ball, leading by a point. Rockwell. That shot must have been partially deflected.
Yeah, Brady Anderson was able to get a piece of it. He's just doing a little bit of everything in this game and doing it at a very high level.
Brady Anderson has been the ringleader. The sophomore came into this game with more than 150 assists on the year. He's been doing it scoring as well, and there he is controlling. 2 minutes gone, fourth quarter, 2A state championship game. And what a game. Connor's really going to be patient down a point to try and get a good open look.
They are. And
Morgan.
Yeah, fantastic flash by Morgan.
Clay Morgan, 14 points, and his Ponder back up by a single tally.
And that's where Morgan's at his best, when he's moving without the ball and his teammates are finding him. He needs to continue to do that these last 5.5 minutes.
We've seen that several times, him flashing to the rim. May have earned a turnover. Officials look at each other. They'll keep it here in Tatum's possession.
Back in for Ponder, number 12, Logan McCarty. We have a timeout.
Timeout on the floor, called by Tatum with 5:20 to play.
Coach Carr taking that timeout. Last time out that they took, they were able to draw up a play and get 2 points. Expect to see that again. Of course, that leaves them with 2 full timeouts and 1:22.
We'll see how this plays out. I like this. You know, sometimes coaches believe in saving those timeouts for the last few minutes just to stop the clock or set up a defense, but sometimes the magnitude of a game can switch back and forth. A made basket here might be crucial again for Tatum to regain that momentum that slipped away at the end of the third quarter.
Absolutely, you're spot on with that assessment. Coach Carr obviously knows what he's doing.
You mentioned this very early in the game, JD, and I don't think anything's changed. This is a ball game featuring 2 outstanding teams and well-coached clubs.
It's a little bit deeper of a bench, and they've absolutely gone into that well many a time in this game. Ponder, we talked about it, playing without their leading scorer from the state semifinal game. There's Chase Harris, had 20 points, 7 rebounds, was 5 of 7 from the three-point line, and the entire team was 5 of 11, so he hit all the threes. But here Ponder is in the state championship, showing that he's not the only guy that can shoot threes. They're 4 of 7.
Chaston Brooks had a big second half. He controls the basketball. He's been driving to the rim. He'll kick out here, leads to a 3-try.
You can't ask for much more than a wide open 3-point attempt like that.
Competition for the rebound. Arrows in favor of Tatum on the jump.
And when you're fighting for it like that, until you have entire possession, you can't call a timeout. So while the ball is still getting batted around under there and guys are going for it, you can see him down in the pile trying to call a timeout. Refs aren't going to give it to him. You have to have 100% possession in order to be able to call that.
It's one thing I've seen probably more this year than any other as far as guys rolling over on basketballs, maybe getting away with a bit of a travel or trying to gain that possession before the timeouts are called. And, of course, you can verbally call the timeouts. You don't have to raise your hands. And a coach can call the timeout from the sideline. Adds to that.
It doesn't ever keep anybody from trying.
No, it doesn't. Cheston Brooks, maybe a little bit of a speed advantage against Morgan, but passes off.
Well, and that's what they continue to want to do. They want to get a one-on-one and have Brooks drive to the basket.
He'll pull up here. Rebound, McCarty. He's been everywhere, and he's fouled.
And I'll tell you, Ponder's happy with that. They're happy if Brooks is going to settle for that jumper like that, a contested jumper by Clay Morgan.
Donovan Centers will pick up his 4th foul. He thought he had the jump ball.
And that's the correct call. Just a little bit too aggressive by Centers.
You just don't need that in the backcourt.
No, not at all. Not at all. That won't make Coach Carr happy.
Logan McCarty coaxes in that free toss. Ponder shooting almost 56% from the field to 35% for Tatum.
I continue to harp on it, but I'm just impressed that they go from having 11 turnovers in the first half to 2 in the third quarter and have none here in the fourth quarter.
It's almost like it took them a little while to figure out how to play with a slightly different rotation without Harris, but it's clicked.
That's right, and in the state semifinal game for Tatum, they had 30 points in the paint. Ponder has 30 points in the paint here in this game against Tatum, beating them with their own game.
So often these teams can roll through their districts. You get this deep in the playoffs facing 2 good teams. It's just a different type of flow than maybe you've had other than 4 or 5 games all year.
Once you make it to Austin, there's not any team can win. It's one game. You don't have to do the NBA. You don't have to win 5 out of 7.
Rockwell, his first basket in the second half. A big hit for Tatum, but Ponder still up by a point.
4 out of 7. My math's not great right now. Having too much fun watching this game.
Hey, great game. Almost halfway through our fourth quarter.
That is where he needs to be getting the ball. You need to get Clay Morgan the ball down in the paint every single time. Let him work on those guys. And he's got a size advantage. Let him utilize it.
Watch his quickness, though. Watch his spin. That's tough to defend.
Good move. Drew the foul well. Jahi Johnson did not think that he fouled him, but he did. Hearing a familiar cheer from the Tatum cheerleaders and crowd to miss it.
Morgan's shown some frustration from the line. He's had 4 misses.
And he's logged a double-double now in this game. 14 points, 10 boards. Chance to increase it to 15 with this free throw.
1 of 2.
And he's got a good stroke. He's just been a little bit long on most of the free throws that he's missed off the back iron. A lot of that that's the depth perception coming into play.
Ponder leads by 2. Tatum the ball. 4 minutes even to go here in our fourth quarter. Timeout called by Brett Carr. Didn't like something offensively in the set. Second time we've seen Coach Carr burn a timeout with his team in the offensive end looking for a basket.
Well, and that's going to leave both teams, Ponder and Tatum, with 2 full timeouts down the stretch. And not much of a stretch left in this game. 3 minutes and 59 seconds.
As we see the Eagles huddle up, what do they need to do to get their mojo back? Again, they're right in this game, only down 2 points, but a 14-point lead in the third quarter, you start to think about that gold medal around your neck.
Well, early on in the game, they were shooting their threes really well, and they were even 7 of 15 at some point in the third quarter, but they missed their last 5 threes. I'd like to see them not settle on an outside jumper. They've been very good when they've gotten to the basket. And then the secondary thing that does is also you could draw a foul on Ponder, you get to the free throw line, and maybe even put them into a position where, they're uncomfortable because all of a sudden one of their good players has 4 fouls.
Of course, McCarty picked up 4 about halfway through that third quarter.
That's right.
He's been able to play without it. He's not a post guy per se, and you can kind of rely on him to maybe stay in the game.
Right, and Ponder getting some really big minutes out of McCarty. He's been playing not like a 6 man at all, and he started tonight for freshman Chris Harris, who suffered a concussion in their state semifinal matchup. got knocked in the nose and didn't really remember a whole lot of the second half. Of course, he pretty fantastic in the second half.
We'd all like to have that problem if we could win a shot, and he's just a tough kid. But
that's right.
You talked about McCarty. I know Brady Anderson's played a whale of a game. McCarty's impressed me more than anybody with the edge he's given this team.
Well, they're getting such a contribution from the entire team, and that's what you have to do to win championships.
Clifton Willis lost the ball to Ponder, and now the officials are going to confer they might reverse this.
And that's the correct call, because Brady Anderson reached around from behind and tipped that ball out of the player for Tatum's hands.
We'll take another peek. Good call.
Yep. These officials from the Bay Area doing a nice job.
See what the Tatum Eagles can do in the half-court set.
Every single possession is of the utmost importance at this point in the game. Tatum may have gotten away with an illegal screen there.
Keyshawn Smith in the hands of Logan McCarty again.
What I tell you that you don't want to do, you don't want to settle. I mean, it was a wide open three and it was a good look, but at this, you have to understand the position that you're in the game. You have to get a couple of points, and you just have missed 5 threes in a row, and now it's 6.
On the drive, Brady Anderson.
Well, and Ponder's been doing that the entire second half. They've been putting a lot of pressure on the basket.
From down 14 in the third quarter to up 4 with a state championship on the line, and that's a silly turnover to Ponder.
And Tatum is just starting to unravel a little bit. Some silly, unforced turnovers. Coach Carr's going to get another timeout. And that's a good call.
He's going to roll through his allotment, but he knows things are slipping a bit, and he needs to diagram something here in the remaining 2:49. First to stop and then points.
Absolutely, and right now he just needs to give his kids confidence. Right, they are not playing as confidently as they were in the first 3 quarters of the game. They're playing a lot more timid. They could switch it around. We know that they can play a more aggressive style of basketball. They just haven't.
It's a good read, though, on the confidence. We can see that here courtside, having seen this team just play a couple of times. But for Coach Carr, who's been with these kids for 4 years for some and seen them in practice in games, he recognizes that very quickly.
Yeah, he does, and that's what the good coaches do. The great coaches do that. It's really hard to get to this point. It's hard to get to a state championship, not only the semifinal, but especially getting to a state championship game like this. It's hard to get here, and usually you're a very, very good coach, if not a great one, in order to get a team here.
Ponder's basketball, leading by 4 points. Better get the ball in.
Timeout, Ponder.
Timeout, Ponder.
Interesting situation here with both teams only having 1 timeout for the remainder of this game.
I don't think I've seen a game in a long time and so many timeouts have been used before, say, the last couple of minutes,
right,
where they're extinguished as we get to the final 2:49.
Well, you definitely want to have them down the stretch, but you know what? These coaches know their teams better than anybody, and they know. I mean, that's a timeout you have to take. You can't afford to turn the ball over, especially on your side of the floor. If Tatum gets a steal there, the basket's right in front of them. They're able to go get an easy 2 points, gain a little momentum. I like that call by Ponder, and that was, of course, Brady Anderson, who has been huge in this second half for Ponder.
55-51, Ponder the lead as you see the court here at the Frank Irwin Center. When you're courtside and you see this arena and this court, does it take everything you have not to run out there and get some shots up?
Absolutely it does. I'd love to be out there. I still love to play a little bit. And this was my old floor. I used to play on this floor.
That's what I mean.
Man,
you hear the crowd, you feel the excitement of the game.
Oh, I know. It's exciting, and I would love to be able to go back and be here in this position. I was never fortunate enough to come and get to play in Austin in the state tournament. We had a very good team back in high school. Of course, the next game coming up, you'll be calling Amarillo High School. My alma mater is going to be facing Dallas Kimball. I'll be watching that.
Might have time to suit you up.
Yeah, I would love to do it. I'm probably not. I can't run around like these kids anymore, though. I mean, look at Ponder. They played their starting 5 so much in this game. I couldn't even do it. They're in fantastic shape.
Clay Morgan just breaks the timeline in time. 2.5 to play. Ponder the lead And the ball. Peterson able to post up. Oh, he doesn't get the roll. Morgan, the putback! And with this free throw, he'll have a chance to get to 2,000 points.
Strong like bull. That's what he was doing down there. It was fortunate. Ball bounced a couple of times. Some of the Tatum players mistimed the rebound coming off. And Morgan was able to go back up and get it away from everyone else and then finish through the contact.
Muscled that shot up.
That extends Ponder's lead out to 6 points now with an opportunity to extend it to 7, and that will be the biggest lead that Ponder has had in this game. All the momentum is with Ponder.
Clay Morgan, the 6'6" senior, has reached 2,000 points
Good
in
for
his
him.
high school career.
Well done, Clay Morgan. Congratulations. That is a feat that not many people will ever get to.
Well, just incredible. A 7-point lead for his team. And the Eagles have to find a hit. They led 45-31. Since then, of course, you do the math, they've scored just 6 points in more than a quarter.
And Brooks looking to take Morgan to the basket.
Morgan gets the rebound, has the presence to kick it out to Anderson as he was falling down.
And now I fully expect for Ponder to try to take some time off this clock. You don't need to score any more points. Force Tatum to foul you. Go to the free throw line. You're in the double bonus, so you're going to get 2 each time.
This is normally when I turn to my analyst and say, how much time do you want to run out? And you say all of it.
All of it, exactly. There's no shot clock. You talked about that earlier. You take as much time as you feel they can do. And Ponder has a really good, just kind of a delayed offense that they're able to do a lot of dribble handoffs. It keeps people from getting any cheap steals on Tatum's end and getting down and scoring. Now you just want to knock down your free throws and extend your lead.
Logan McCarty does just that. Brett Carr's been working so hard here in this fourth quarter to try and turn this slide around. But the shots haven't fallen.
And something I don't want to see Tatum do right here is start to force three-point shots. You're going to have to knock down some threes to get back in the game, but don't take an ill-advised shot at the end of this game. Be patient. There's still plenty of time on the clock.
Indeed, down 8. Clifton Willis has hit 3 threes, trying to get open for a look. Cheston Brooks driving in. Floor rebound, Brady Anderson again. And Anderson trying to beat everybody up the floor.
Give a lot of credit to the bigs of Ponder. Peterson and Morgan going straight up there. Oh, looks like we got a bleeder. Yeah, I think Peterson got knocked in the nose and he's bleeding. They're gonna have to, as soon as the refs notice that, they're gonna have to get him out and get that addressed.
He's got his hand covered with blood as Anderson makes the free throw.
I can't believe the refs have not noticed this yet. Yeah,
Especially
here we go, here we go. Here it comes. There it is. He sees it. He took a he took a swat to the nose down on the defensive end, but again, to reiterate, did a good job standing up straight, making Brooks miss the shot without fouling him. You're gonna have a hard time stopping a nosebleed within the next couple of minutes.
Dustin Ferguson will check in.
Clay Morgan trying to coach Dustin Ferguson up a little bit, tell him where he needs to go, what he needs to do. Just play solid. No cheap fouls, and you'll be okay.
18 points for Brady Anderson. He's had a whale of a game. Lions need some points, do so in a hurry. Not a good looking shot. They'll get the back tap.
And that's the quick 3 I was trying to tell you about.
Oh, it won't drop. Willis couldn't get it to go.
That hung on the rim, did the little toilet bowl, went around for about 2-3 seconds before wiggling out, but
8-point game, 49 seconds to play. Clay Morgan back to the line.
Chance to score even more than 2000. 2001 and 2002.
Distance yourself from all comers behind you.
That's right. God, what an impressive feat to accomplish, though. Kudos to you, Clay Morgan, on your fantastic career.
It's hard to comprehend over the course of a career just how good that is.
Yeah. Well, it's consistency. I mean, when you have a kid that shows up to practice each and every day, shows up, plays in all the games that he can, is able to stay away from any kind of injuries and just be that consistent, it's really a blessing for a coach.
How about Josh Peterson, the shot we had? Looks like he's been in a prize fight. Ball's out of bounds. Who does it belong to? Tatum ball, 42 seconds to play. Well, even when there's an open look, it wasn't a clean catch from Williams. Led to a block from behind. Brooks was fouled.
Well, Clay Morgan just getting a little bit too aggressive trying to block a second shot. He heard the crowd go nuts whenever he was. Oh, they called that on Peterson?
It was a matter of time. He was going to have to leave one way or another with the blood or the nose plug, and now 5 fouls.
Well, it's probably better for him. It's tough to play with that gauze in your nose. Hard to breathe. You have to breathe through your mouth. And he looks like he's bleeding through the gauze.
You're just tuning in. Tatum in our third quarter at a 14-point lead. Logan McCarty. Much deserved high fives, hugs, and handshakes.
It was a great game Logan McCarty did. He brought a lot of energy for Ponder. Took a number of charges, scored some points. We're talking about a guy who started a few games, but not a whole lot. Had one of his best games of the season here in the state championship matchup.
I'll say it again. I think he just gave them a little bit of fight and an edge when they needed it most.
He really did. And a lot of times that's what you want out of your six man. Your six man coming in has to bring all that energy, and he's been used to doing that.
Looks like Brooks come into the foul in the backcourt.
Tatum's going to try to extend this game out as much as they can.
Saw the shot of Coach Stanley. This program has won 4 state titles, the last in 2010, which was his first as a head coach. Four-point win over Aransas Pass in the semifinal.
Senior Christian Worthington has entered the game for the first time. Able to get to play on the floor here at the Irwin Center. Such a great experience for all these kids.
Willis misses badly.
A little bit too strong.
20 seconds to play, and the celebration soon will begin in Ponder.
Well, you know, we talked about how Chase Harris took the shot to the nose in their semifinal game. Peterson, of course, following suit, taking his shot to the nose here in the finals.
Maybe it's an omen of sorts.
Maybe.
Painful one, though, but for the Lions, they just keep racking up wins. Remember, this Tatum team came into today having won every game here in 2014, riding a 23-game winning streak.
Tough time to lose after that, winning 23 straight games.
You know, stranger things have happened. It's only an 8-point game, 20 seconds to play, but Coach Stanley, I'll give him credit. He's feeling comfortable. He's bringing some kids off his bench for a chance to play.
Absolutely.
That's 20 now in the game for Morgan. Remember, he had just 6 at the half.
Well, not to mention the 14 rebounds that he's had, including that big offensive rebound that he had just a few minutes ago.
Let it go!
Willis tries to save. It'll be Ponder ball.
The question now is Coach Carr still going to have his team fouling and sending Ponder to the free throw line? Or are they going to play hard and try to steal it?
There's your answer.
Yeah. fighting. They're going to go down fighting to the very end. And Tatum, for the majority of this game, was in a very good position and looked like they were controlling it. And then Ponder, the end of the third quarter and in the entire fourth quarter, has just been so impressive. These guys share the ball well. You can tell that they all like each other. There's a chemistry that they have. And they've earned every bit of this state championship.
Anderson hoping to get a make. He misses. There were 5 players set to check in. This is going to cost them some playing time. I think they wanted a foul quickly so that they could get 5 players in for the remaining 8 seconds.
That's right.
That's Brady Anderson's most heads-up play of the day to commit a foul.
I mean, that's the thing with Brady Anderson is he's aware of everything that's going on. He does a good job leading this team, handling the ball, handles pressure. And that's exhausting to do. It really is. And then not only to do that, but to step up and be able to score as many points as he did in this game. Brady Anderson having 18 points here tonight. He only had 2 in the semifinal matchup, but he had 8 assists. He generates offense for this Ponder Line squad.
2 well-coached teams, a very good game, although Tatum losing the 14-point lead, in danger of losing by double figures, but for the most part, you have to take your hat off to the Ponder Lions.
Tatum didn't give him anything. They had to earn it, and they did so.
Jump ball.
Arrow in favor of Ponder with 1 second to play.
Well, and you have to call that there. It's going to stay with Ponder.
Congratulations to the Ponder Lions. They have won their 5th state title. And what an effort. Down 14 in the third quarter.
I don't think that Chase Harris should be getting it at the bottom of a pile if he just had a concussion a day ago. But there he is. You can't help but celebrate.
A celebration, the release of the emotion of winning a state championship when there were some dark times in that third quarter. Down 14, the Nets will come down, the celebration will begin. A 66-56 Ponder victory. We're going to step aside. When we come back, Jeff Power will talk with Jude Stanley, our winning coach for the Ponder Lions. Our 2A state championship game is in the books. The Ponder Lions rally and win by 10, a 66-56 victory over the Tatum Eagles. In just a moment, we'll talk with Jude Stanley, the winning coach, who will enjoy his 2nd championship after winning in 2010. Again, it was a big comeback in that second half after down 14 points. Let's take a look at our Built Ford Tough player of the game. It's Logan McCarty, 14 points getting the start today.
Not enough can be said about what Logan McCarty did for this squad. Only played 16 minutes in the state semifinal game, but he stepped up big and was able to just do a fantastic job. He took a number of charges and finished with 14 points.
Huge game. Let's go to Jeff Powers with Coach Stanley.
Yeah, we're standing here with Jude Stanley. 66-56 win for Ponder. You were down 14 points early on in that game, but y'all found a way to battle back.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Powers, these guys are resilient. You know, what a great group of kids. You know, somebody that stands hollering, Coach, you did it. I didn't do anything. Those group of guys out there on that floor, that's who did this. It's those guys. It ain't nothing about me.
Chase Harris was out with a concussion. Logan McCarty steps up big time. Talk about his performance, scoring 14 points coming off the bench, basically. Although he did get the start today, he's more or less a bench player, right?
Well, he started some for us this year, but he's come off the bench probably the last 25 games. You know, credit to that kid. He is a competitor, and he wanted a state championship. He wanted to have a chance to have a ring on his finger, and that's what he did today. He came up huge. What tremendous defense, took about 3 charges, played with 4 fouls. You know, he just did not, he refused to lose, and that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about when you come to Austin, refuse to lose and have a chance to win.
Your defense was really tough down the stretch as well. Talk about your defense and just that resiliency.
Well, you know, I mean, they've got tons of players who can do many things. They get to the basket on you. Rockwell's the best three-point shooter in the state of Texas, bar none. But defensively, we had to really lock them down. And I told our kids, we've got to get stop after stop. And we got many stops in a row and found a way to put the ball in the basket, and it makes my job a lot easier as a coach.
Very good. Jude Stanley, thank you so much. Appreciate you being with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for letting us play in this thing.
Hey, we're glad to have you.
Hope we're back next year.
Ponder State Champs, back to you.
I love that. We'll be back next year. I don't blame him. And great talk with Coach Jude Stanley. Meanwhile, let's take a look at our DQ big play of the game.
Yeah, and of course that was Brady Anderson with a huge three coming off right there. Fantastic play, and that was a momentum changer.
Because right after that shot, there was a quick steal and another basket. It was 5 points in about 3 seconds.
That's right.
Part of the 19 points, Brady Anderson picked up 21 for Clay Morgan. And a final thought, Clay Morgan, it took him a while to get his points, but he wins the state championship and gets to 2,000 points in his career. Maybe a side note of sorts today, but what a wonderful way to wrap things up.
Absolutely. You couldn't finish a career any better. Being able to reach that milestone, but also cap it off with the state championship. Kudos to that kid for his career.
Final thought, two well-coached teams, but you have to tip your hat to Ponder what they were able to do coming down 14
That's right.
That'll do it for the 2A state championship game for J.D. Lewis, Jeff Powers, and our entire crew. I'm Fred Tilden saying thank you for watching. Again, it was the Ponder Lions winning their 5th state championship with an impressive win over the Tatum Eagles, 66-56.